Hello folks, welcome to my YouTube channel, Watercolor Impressions. This week we are going to learn how to paint a cloudscape. There was a storm in Toronto. The storm brought beautiful clouds that looked magical, and I really wanted to paint them. Before you go, hit the subscribe button so you guys can get weekly video updates from the channel. And let's get started, guys. When it comes to cloudscape, there is only one thing you should take from this video. What I'm going to show is to keep it simplified. And it doesn't have to be close to your reference, and don't compare your clouds with what you're painting now. And you can change your shapes and you can change whatever you want in your clouds, but try to capture the essence and the colors from it. So I pre-wet the paper, and I'm starting with a Cobalt Blue wash, and I'm putting a little bit of Cerulean Blue, and you can see I'm also trying to create a gradient from top to bottom. And I'm also leaving some white bits here and there for the buildings, which is the cityscape, which is there. And even though the reference there is no CN Tower, I want to show that this is Toronto. So I just took some paper and leave some white bits for the CN Tower. And you can see before it dries out, I'm trying to put another wash on top, so that kind of creates a gradient, and it also gives this beautiful impression of depth in the clouds as well. And I'm also trying to combining the clouds as well as with the trees, and you can mix the greens with yellow and a little bit of cerulean blue in it, or you can use cobalt blue as well. So this is a partition in the highway. This is a Don Valley highway, which is kind of like a quite popular highway, which connects the 401 and 407 if you're from Ontario. And these are the two major highways. There's always something happening in this highway, and there's a lot of traffic. And you can see I also blocked in the road really fast, and I also and you can see I'm blocking the shape which is on the left hand side, and you can see it also have this gradient from dark to light. So I'm trying to capture that thing. And before it dries out, I'm pre-wetting the paper and creating this gradient. And you can see I left some white bits here and there just to have a little bit of showing the clouds which is coming in the front and which is going at the back. And you can see I really like the shape against the darker cloud, the Euro cloud. And you can see as soon as I blocked in some of the clouds, you can see in a matter of seconds, we're able to block this cloudscape really fast. And one thing we have to keep in mind, that even though it doesn't look as in the reference, but you can see as soon as you took the reference from after you finish your painting, it's going to, the essence of the reference comes to your painting as well. And even when you show this painting to someone, they're not going to judge your reference or anything, because they're going to just see your painting. And if you see this painting from the far, it does look photoreal, and it also gives the essence of the stormy clouds we painted. And if you want to learn how to paint clouds, I also have a tutorial of covering all kinds of clouds, all type of clouds. You can refer as, I'll put the link in my description as well. So you can see even though the cloud is there, and I don't want to leave my foreground as it is, because it's going to look weak. So I'm just going to add some details for the cars as well. And the cars, which I put it in the foreground, it also helps to take us into the painting as well. I also forget to mention that when you're painting clouds, you have mere seconds to do it, or else like you will lose the essence and the freshness of the painting in watercolors. That's why whenever I try to paint watercolors, I try to paint fast. And I also sped up this video, so don't get discouraged. I highly recommend doing smaller clouds, or take one part of a cloud in the reference and paint it, then jump onto the clouds which are really difficult. As I said, there's one thing you can take from this video is to simplify clouds, and you don't have to be accurate to your reference. So keep that in mind when you paint, and having that letting go while painting helps you to paint confidently, as well as try to capture the essence of the scene than copying as it is. And when you do it, even when you don't copy as it is, there is something happens in your painting as well. So the originality comes in. So that's when you apply for any kind of exhibition or any kind of competition, you're not painting as as close to the reference, you're changing your things so that there is a little bit of originality in your scene as well. And you can see as soon as we add the shadow, the lighting started happening in our scene. And there's one major thing in order to show lighting is to create shadows. The shadows will show where's the light direction is coming from. And you can see I also created the shadow in the foreground as well. On the left hand side, I'm going to keep it really minimal because it's in the midground, so I'm not worried about it. And I'm also adding this street lines on the highway because if you see, if you squint your eyes and if you see this painting, there's only two colors which are major in it, and it kind of looks really great. So these colors which we are putting on that yellow straight lines and the red lights on the car, which gives a little bit of color variation in our scene, which kills the monotonous in any kind of painting we do. And this is the last step I do. I'm using gouache painting, and I'm also using this calligraphy brush, and I try to block in my eyelets by using as a knife, like a palette knife, so that gives a crisp, sharp eyelets in our cars. And there's one thing that makes a car is the eyelets which we are putting on the top of the car, and I'm also trying to put some eyelets on the cityscape as well, on the buildings in the background as well. And I did try to capture the cloud, but I want to break the cloud even further. So I'm going to use a little bit of white paint and try to break it, and you will see it in a second how I'm going to do that. And this is also a sign on the Don Valley Parkway, and there are certain boards. And I'm also trying to put some traffic lines and directional lines, which also helps the viewers to take us into the painting. And I'm squinting my eyes and trying to add reference to eyelets based on the reference. And so I'm going to break up the cloud pattern, the eyelets, a little bit noisy because it looks super flat. So I want to create a different bit of shapes and pushing things in the front and the back. And you can see I'm not trying to be neat when I'm painting clouds because it gives this variety of shapes and edges for the eyelets. You can see as soon as I add this eyelet on the bigger cloud, you can see there's a little bit of volume started happening in our the cloudscape as well. And I'm trying to add some clouds here and there, and I'm also trying to take some of the clouds from the other parts of this reference, and I'm putting it into the big clouds as well. I'm also taking clean water, and as soon as I put that white paint and I take it and try to create a gradient, and that also you can see I'm doing it on this cloud, so that also gives a little bit of volume, and it also breaks the shape even further. So whenever you try to paint, think about the primary shapes, the big shapes, and try to go to the secondary shapes, the medium shapes, then break it into the smaller shapes. Those are called tertiary details. When you paint this way, you'll be a little bit organized, and taking your reference and breaking into smaller sections, it will help us to paint like really consciously, and we can express and change our shapes as well. I always tape my paintings. It shows that how my painting going to look like when it's framed, and it also gives this crisp hard edges around the painting, and you can see it came out rather nice. So now it's your turn. Go out and take some pictures of clouds or use my reference, and let's see what you can come up with. Thanks again for watching this cloudscape painting tutorial. Please feel free to share your thoughts on the video in the comment section below. If you have any other topics related to watercolors that you'd like me to cover, please reach out to me at watercolorimpressions@gmail.com or leave a comment down below. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for weekly uploads, and share it with your fellow artists, friends and family. And good luck with your painting, folks.